Great. Morning, everybody. Great to be with you. Please be seated. What an honor to be with you. Barry, thank you for once again putting on a great conference. Mike, thank you for everything you do here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Let's keep building those aircraft carriers. I want an aircraft carrier in every driveway in America by the time we're done. And I want to thank the greatest Secretary of Commerce and Trade in the history of the Commonwealth of Virginia. Give Maurice Jones a great round of applause. Y'all know Maurice, he's a Rhodes Scholar. Did you know that? I didn't even waste the postage stamp to apply for that kind of stuff. But you know what the heck? It is great to be with you all today. I think y'all know we've been working very hard when I talk about building that new Virginia economy, diversifying our economy. We all know the challenges we face. We have to do it. Sequestration, we got through October 1, but they've kicked the can down the road, as you know now, to December 11th. We have the budget debt ceiling, which will happen on November 5th. So we've got some big action items out there for the Commonwealth of Virginia. We are the #1 recipient of Department of Defense dollars, #1 of all 50 states. Every aircraft carrier built in America is built here in Virginia. We have 19 military installations, the largest naval base in the world, Quantico, CIA, Pentagon, Langley Air Force Base, all of that. So when defense gets cut or doesn't increase funding, it has a dramatic impact on our economy. In 10, 11, and 12, we saw about $9.8 billion worth of cuts, mostly to Northern Virginia. This next round could even have a bigger, more profound impact. So we're hoping the Congress will get their act together and deal with these big issues that they have to face. Not only that, we have the Highway Trust Fund. If they don't get their act together and fund the Highway Trust Fund, I have to stop about 303 projects immediately. We lose about $1 billion. So our challenge is to protect the assets that we have, bring new ones in. Actually, we had a big win this year. We got the Advanced Training Center for all diplomatic security is going to be done in Virginia. We know that the Georgia delegation is trying to fool with us a little bit and take our funding away. We're not going to let that happen, are we, gentlemen? No. When we win it, I believe we ought to keep it. We worked hard, as Mike will tell you, to make sure that we keep the George Washington aircraft carrier activated. We all worked hard, talked to the White House, Department of Defense. So these are challenges that we face every single day. But we are in very good shape. Our economy is humming along. The key to that, though, is workforce development. I have traveled the globe extensively as governor. I was probably the most traveled governor in the nation last year. I went to Japan twice, Japan, Korea, 7 European countries, all talking about how we bring business back. If you're going to diversify and grow, you want to come to America. There really is only one state to go. That's the state of Virginia. We are the best state in the United States of America. Is that not correct, everybody? We've got Dulles International Airport, which is serving all these countries and 350 destinations around the globe every week. We have the deepest port on the East Coast, the post-Panamax ships, folks. They can only come to one place. They can only come to the Commonwealth of Virginia for these gigantic post-Panamax ships. That's an advantage we have today, but we got to keep hustling. They're raising the Bayonne Bridge in New Jersey so they can get to the New York harbor. So we got a 3-4 year head start. We got to keep doing it. We got to open our infrastructure at the port. We got to have more rail service. These are the types of things that we're focusing on each and every day. I'm proud that we announced the other day a 4.5% unemployment rate in the Commonwealth of Virginia. I am proud to say that is the lowest unemployment rate of any state in the southeast of the United States of America, which no other governor can really say that as we have. As the Secretary mentioned, we've been on a roll in economic development announcements. We have done 471 economic development projects under my term. We have brought back about $7.9 billion. Not that we're counting, nearly double any governor in the history of the Commonwealth of Virginia, folks. And let me tell you this, I'm just warming up. This is just an appetizer we got coming for Virginia. I'm beginning to feel bad for those other 49 governors, but we got to keep working. But the key is we've got to make these announcements in all parts of the Commonwealth. You know, if I can do 100 jobs in South Side or Southwest Virginia, that's like, you know, a couple thousand jobs in Northern Virginia. If we can help communities that are desperate, who've lost textile and tobacco and furniture, if we can bring some jobs back to those communities, it really is what is going to build and that new Virginia economy. I'm proud that in June we announced that Core Systems LLC is creating 140 jobs and investing $12.8 million to relocate from Arizona to Virginia. And we were very happy about that announcement because we beat North Carolina. I love it. I love North Carolina, but I love it. We go head on head and we just beat them. And actually it's great. It's the spray disinfectant. Like you have Perel, which lasts, if someone shakes your hand, you got to do it again. With Core Systems, which is now in Virginia, you put it on, it's good for 24 hours. So how do you like that? So from now on, folks, all Virginians, you buy Core. I may do a commercial for them. We announced that Monogram Foods is expanding to create 101 new jobs in Martinsville and Henry County. I was very proud. This is their second announcement, economic development they've done in my term. The first one, they actually created 200 new jobs. I always like to talk about the biggest win we had. We competed against 20 states to get, as you know, the 10th largest craft brewer to the Commonwealth of Virginia. They made the smart decision. It came right down to the end between Ohio and Virginia. But I'm so proud that Stone Craft Brewery is located here in the city of Richmond, and that was a huge announcement. It's 288 new jobs, $74 million of new investment that we have. Our craft brew industry is really cranking. I just announced our 121st craft brewery. We now have 250 wineries. We have just moved ahead of Texas for the first time. We are now 5th in the country on wine. Obviously, our craft breweries at 121. I just got back from Oregon and San Diego. Hopefully, we'll have 2 more big ones coming our way. We have 10 craft distilleries. So we're rocking. As you know, I am the first governor to visit all community colleges in the Commonwealth. I will be the first governor to visit all 36 state parks. And I'm making a commitment to be the first governor to drink at all 121 craft breweries in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And let me tell you this, if there's a governor that can do it, I am your man. That is my Irish heritage. There's nothing I can do about that. But honestly, folks, things are humming right along. We're doing great. We just got to get through this sequestration issue. As you know, when I stood before many of you a year ago, when I became governor, we inherited about a $2.4 billion deficit. Working together in a bipartisan way, everybody coming together, we were able to deal with that budget deficit. We had a top priority. We'll get through this budget, but there'll be no cuts to K through 12. And I just announced last month, which happened to be one of the largest budget deficits in Virginia history, has just become the largest budget surplus in the Commonwealth of Virginia's history. 8% growth, not many governors can say that. Our non-withholding was up 20.2%. Tax recordation up, that's your real estate. So the fundamentals of our economy are very, very strong, and we need to continue to do that. But in order to continue to grow, we need the best education system in the country. Because at the end of the day, when I talk about the secret sauce of economic development and job creation is, are we going to have jobs for a CEO 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road? That is the whole secret sauce. And if you can do that, and the governors that can put that together, those are going to be the states that are successful. I announced earlier this month that when I release my budget on December 17th, my top priority will be K through 12. That you will see the biggest investment, because that is key to workforce development. We have to start early. I also happen to be a huge advocate of pre-K, and we've been very successful bringing pre-K money back from the federal government. But your K through 12 system is where you really begin the foundations of building that workforce of the 21st century that I constantly talk about. As you know, in Virginia, since 2008, we have eliminated about 5,000 jobs, 5,000 positions in our K through 12 system. At the same time, enrollment's gone up. Many of the student learning issues are much more challenging, with English being a second language, and we've made our tests much harder. So at the same time, we're cutting positions and making it tougher for teachers. At the same time, you know, we've made the challenging circumstances for them. Now that we have a surplus and our economy's doing fine and moving ahead, you just don't take money like a backfill and put it in. What Ann and I talk about every day is how do you strategically target that money to put it in to get the most bang for your buck. And that's what we're focused on. How do we invest back to make sure we got the best K through 12 system in the entire country? We have traveled. We have done 7 economic roundtables around the Commonwealth. Fascinating. Parents, teachers, administrators, and students have all come to these roundtables. They all have their own roundtable. We have got so many great suggestions which we will incorporate. Obviously, the biggest one, universally, is our SOL system. The way that we have it today doesn't work in the Commonwealth of Virginia. I talked about this issue. We've gone from 34 to 29. Third graders should not be taking 6-hour tests. They just don't have the attention span for that, nor should we be putting them through that. We cannot be teaching folks to memorize tests. That doesn't do you any good. We had a great student yesterday who said, yeah, I take the SOLs, and a week later, there's not one single thing that I was taught that I memorized that I remember today. You want cognitive reasoning going on, critical thought process. So how do you interrelate with people? How do you solve problems? So that's what Ann and I are working on so hard. The JLARC study that just came out said that on school funding, told us what we already knew, that we haven't been holding up on our end of the bargain for our young people. Folks, that's not how you build a new economy. We know that you cannot fully realize our economic goals unless we set high standards for education, literally at all levels. In addition, I will say this, it is equally true that our Commonwealth's full potential cannot be reached as long as thousands and thousands of individuals have no access to health care security that they deserve. And as long as many of our hospitals are struggling to keep their doors open, we need to do something about it. 17 of our 38 rural hospitals today are operating in the red. And 16 of those hospitals have been in the red for multiple years. The problem, folks, is not going away, and we do need to take action. We're talking to business executives and entrepreneurs all over the globe. And you know what? We are not going to be able to get them to invest in our Virginia communities if they don't have a solid, sustainable system of medical care. Healthcare systems are crucial economic drivers in every region. In rural communities, it's either the first, second, or third biggest economic driver in their communities. There are other communities in other states, including our neighboring states, West Virginia, Maryland, Kentucky, Arkansas, that have embraced rational policies for efficiency on healthcare access. We need to do the same. We must confront this issue because every year we are forfeiting $2.4 billion of our tax dollars that we have the right to bring 100% back that today we're not bringing back. And our neighboring states are taking that money and using it to make their citizens healthier. We are giving them a competitive advantage, and I don't like to get on a playing field giving anybody an advantage over us. And don't forget, this is very important, the DSH payments, disproportionate share payments, which reimburse hospitals for indigent care, are slowly ending. And next year, you will see a decrease of $23.6 million in DSH reimbursements, which will immediately come right out of those hospitals. And many of those hospitals I just talked to are already operating in the red. So I would say this to everybody, my door is always open. Let's do the common sense thing. Let's work in a bipartisan way to close the coverage gap and make our citizens healthy. We simply cannot get complacent about the challenges that we face. I've talked a lot of great news about our economy, but we do face headwinds every single day. A key component of that is workforce development. I've said it before, but it bears repeating. In the next decade, in the next 10 years, Virginia will see 900,000 Virginians retire. We will create over that 10-year period 500,000 new jobs, about 1.5 million new jobs. 50 to 60% of those jobs will require less than a 4-year degree. These jobs are accessible with the right kind of industry certification, occupational license, registered apprenticeship, or community college certificate or degree. And let me say this, these are very good paying jobs. They can give hardworking Virginians fast access to a middle-class lifestyle. Unfortunately, there are great jobs available right now that are not being filled. Secretary Jones and I were just up in New York 2 weeks ago. I requested a meeting with the chairman of Canon, runs a $45 billion a year company. We sat with the chairman who was over from Japan. Last year we went to Japan and met with him, and we convinced him to invest $100 million in Newport News. We were up the other day asking them, they want to build a whole new R&D facility somewhere in the globe. Well, of course, if you're going to build a new R&D, it ought to be in Virginia. At least that was our argument. He had a very good response to me. He said, Governor, you were in my office a year ago asking for $100 million. Now you're back asking for an R&D facility. But he said, right now in Newport News, I have 18 engineer jobs that I cannot fill. And you're here asking me for the R&D facility when you can't even fill the jobs of the existing project that we have for you. I can tell you, folks, that pushed us back. That was a powerful argument. So I immediately came back. I called Tim Sands at Virginia Tech. I said, I need 18 engineers. I need them tomorrow. And I need them to move to Newport News. But folks, this is what we deal with every single day. It's so important. This is a huge issue for so many crucial industries. Right now in the technology and cybersecurity sectors alone, mostly in Northern Virginia, today we have 30,000 jobs available in Northern Virginia in the tech space. We take pride that we have more technology workers. We take pride that we have more data centers than any state in America. I'm trying to build a cybersecurity campus, make Virginia #1. 30,000 jobs open today. Folks, these CEOs are not going to sit and wait for us to fill them. They will move to another state. We have got to get in the game, and that's why this conference today is so important. Those 30,000 unfilled jobs, that equals more than $3 billion in annual wages. And to all you parents out there, the average median salary of these jobs, $102,000. Not bad. We need to make sure we're going after those jobs and we're filling those jobs. Our Virginia companies today are losing $21 million a day because of unfilled jobs. So the skills gap is costing us big time. And that's just in one sector. In bioscience, advanced manufacturing, and energy, the skills gap is frustrating businesses that are hungry for workers today with the right credentials and the right qualifications. I hope all you high school students heard that $102,000 a year. Did you hear me? Okay, good. They're all nodding. Good. Code writing, data centers, you get it. These are the emerging industries that we need to ensure that Virginia is competitive in the 21st century. Let's talk about cybersecurity for a second. I am passionate about cybersecurity. This is the one area that the federal government is going to spend billions and billions of dollars, as well as private sector. We've all seen the issues. We saw, our largest health provider took all the names and information. They were hacked of all our Virginia residents. I had several of my children had their data taken. I had my Secretary of Veterans Affairs had all of his data taken, including his fingerprints, probably from China. This is a big deal on cybersecurity. We need to be leaders in that, because today Virginia has the highest concentration of federal cyber assets in the nation, more than any other state. We have 450 cyber-related companies today in Virginia. We can own this space. This is one of the few fields, as I say, that is going to really take off. I talk a lot about bioscience. We need to get in the game. You've all heard tell me the story. I was in San Diego. I just got elected. I'm sitting with the governor of Massachusetts and the governor of California on stage. 30,000 people in California. They put up on the screen the top 25 states in America for bioscience. Guess who wasn't on that list? Now, if any of you know anything about my personality, and I'm sitting with the governor of California and Massachusetts, they were 1 and 2. It was not a good meeting. I vowed at that time that never again would I go to a conference where Virginia's not in the top half of the country. So we've worked hard. I don't know if Jeff Gallagher is here today, but we are really working hard. Is Jeff here? Jeff has done a great job with our team to build our bioscience and take it to the next level. We've got Innova Hospital that just made a major announcement, bought a 117-acre site, ExxonMobil. We are now going to be the global leader, personalized medicine, genome sequencing, taking biosciences to the next level. It is an $8 billion industry already in the Commonwealth of Virginia. From 2007 to 12, Virginia saw net job loss across every single sector except for one, bioscience, which was up 4.2%. So we are making a very aggressive push in bioscience, and the last big area for us is energy. If you look at the Richmond Times-Dispatch today, I have a major editorial in, this is our future, folks, energy. diversification of our energy policies to grow with these new jobs. I was out in the Eastern Shore just last week to announce Virginia's first permit by rule for an 80-megawatt solar facility. Amazon Web Services is going to buy all the juice from that new solar farm. It is now the biggest in the Mid-Atlantic and the second biggest solar farm in the entire East Coast of the United States of America. Why is this important? 2 weeks ago, I was up in Washington State. I met with Amazon and Microsoft. We have thousands of employees from those two companies in Virginia and billions of dollars in investment. They made it perfectly clear. They want their facilities. Right here in Chester, we've got a gigantic 1 million square foot facility. They want their facilities to be 100% powered by renewable energy. And if you can't do that, they will not put any facilities in your state. So when I talk about growth, it's not only let's build the turbines, the blades, the solar panels. Let's not only build those jobs, but we can't bring in the businesses of the 21st century unless we're serious about renewable energy. I also want to thank Dominion Power, which is our largest power company. They're committed to building 400 megawatts of solar by 2020, which will be 25 times more solar than we actually have today. I'm proud to say several months ago I announced we are the first state to have an offshore federal lease. And right now we do have Dominion out with an RFP to look at this. We can be the first ones in the water with a wind turbine. So energy is transforming our entire ability to create that new economy. And I was in California recently and met with 4 solar manufacturing companies who were interested in moving to the East Coast. We need to be the state that gets those. But in order to do it, we've got to make sure we have the workers. That's why a year ago I set a goal to award 50,000 STEM-H workforce credentials by the end of my term. I also want to see almost 500,000 workers by the 2030. The Council for Virginia's Future, working with my office, will soon release the first-year report on our goal of 50,000 STEM-H credential goal. I can tell you this, we haven't hit the 50,000 yet. But since I released that goal last year, the state has increased their STEM-H credential attainment rates by more than 11% for a total of more than 40,000 STEM-H credentials already. And Virginia school divisions grew their STEM-H industry certifications by 4,000 last year, which is a 25% increase over the previous year. These are credentials for jobs that demand STEM-H skills and pay a minimum average salary of $34,000 a year, and they're jobs that do not require a college degree. We're going to press harder to make that 50,000 goal. Folks, we are going to be successful at this. But to do that, we need to encourage greater regional collaboration. I want to applaud all the folks who were involved in our new effort, Go Virginia, for its support and for working with business and education partners to bring this issue to the forefront. We're putting the pieces in place, folks, to build on the progress that we have had. My administration worked very closely with the General Assembly to initiate the state's first student financial aid program for non-credit certification training at community colleges. We invested more than $1 million in funding for a pilot program that kicked off this semester. Last winter, I announced a $500,000 community college high-demand credentialing pilot to increase the number of certification awards. And we successfully pursued legislation to redirect about $3.5 million in federal funds to credential programs and to use state workforce funds to provide about $1.1 million to incentivize regions in order for them to meet their goals. Of course, a pathway to the workforce of the 21st century also demands on innovations that improve access and accountability to higher education. Early college academies are starting to gain attention here. It's important for us. They are a partnership between the community colleges and high schools, mostly in struggling communities with high unemployment, low educational achievement, and very high poverty. This national model will enable a student who doesn't even have college in his or her vocabulary to complete high school along with an associate's degree or a workforce credential. Fantastic, common sense, and we want to see it take hold all over the Commonwealth. These programs have the potential to improve high school graduation rates and to reduce the cost and time required for obtaining a college degree. Most important, these programs increase opportunities for all Virginians to have a robust high school education and be prepared for a workforce or degree. Finally, let me say we're working to dramatically expand the number of employers sponsoring registered apprenticeships. Registered apprenticeships combine a classroom curriculum selected by the employer with on-the-job learning. This is nationally recognized, tried and true strategy to prepare the skilled workforce of the future. It gives employers skilled workers who have high productivity and high retention rates, and it reduces the cost of new hires. Mike Petters here today understands the value of these apprenticeships. Huntington Ingalls invests more than $200,000 per student at the apprentice school operated by the company in Newport News. The school was founded in 1919. So we know that registered apprenticeships are an investment that we can benefit the Commonwealth for generations to come, and this is an investment that we are happy to make. So right now I'm going to sign an executive order number 49 to expand registered apprenticeships in Virginia. I do want to thank Ray Davenport, our DOLI commissioner, who was so instrumental in putting this EO together, and I want to thank him, and if he'd actually come on up here, that would be great. So we're actually going to sign an EO today, folks. The new resources that we're going to put in place will start on January 1st. This new executive order will include more than $400,000 in new incentives for businesses to cover the costs of instruction for newly registered apprentices in crucial sectors like IT and cyber security. The executive order calls on state workforce agencies to develop and provide businesses with information and resources to make it easier for them to access federal workforce funds that will cover education and training for registered apprentices. These new resources, I say, will be available to everybody beginning January 1st. This is a key part of my plan to make the Commonwealth of Virginia the #1 nationally recognized leader for workforce development. So let me go ahead and sign that. All right, folks, there we go. Pen. Once again, if you could give Ray and Bev a great round of applause for the great work they did in putting this together. So let me just say in conclusion, I want to thank you all for being here today. Barry, once again, thank you for taking the leadership to do what we need to do, and Mike Petters and my secretary and Secretary Holton, who are here with us today, and everybody else. Folks, I think you get the point. When we work together, bring folks together, there's nobody who can compete with the Commonwealth of Virginia. We are the greatest state in the United States of America. We are also the first. I happened to be with the governor of Massachusetts the other day, talking about some little picnic they had up there in some Pilgrim Rock. 1607, Commonwealth, that was 1619. We're the first, we're the best, and we're going to keep striving to be the best in the United States of America. Thank you very much.